I'm here again to chat with you for just a few minutes about what a day in the life of a PSD virtual high school student might look like. Just like in middle school, there are some similarities and some differences between the high school experience at PSD Virtual and your typical high school in PSD. One of those similarities is that you can expect a full school day. Students will be scheduled at PSD Virtual in a block schedule, meaning they'll have 4 classes at one time, but in each of those 4 classes, they will be completing a year's worth of work rather than a semester. So things will move along and students will need to dedicate time every day to the daily learning objectives in each of those 4 classes. Now, students will also be engaged in learning activities that are standards-based, just like they would at a traditional high school. And our teachers will look to provide activities where connections are supported and created, connections both with their peers, connections with teachers and adults at school, and connections with your students' passions and interests. That's important in PSD and will be important at PSD Virtual as well when we look to planning our learning activities. Some of the differences from a traditional school are that no bells. A bell will not ring to tell you it's time to stop learning math and move on to language arts. If you're done with that day's objective in math, after half an hour, 45 minutes, you don't have to sit and wait for the rest of the class to finish. If, on the flip side, you need a few more minutes to finish or master that objective, a little more practice, you can have that as well, because no bell is telling you you have to move on right now. So that's what I believe is one of the beauties of online school, is that individualized pacing. Students can master subjects at their own pace. So something else that's a little different from your typical school is that we will have both asynchronous and synchronous learning activities planned. Asynchronous simply means that that's that anytime, any place lesson. A student can log in, engage in the learning at the time that's good for them, and in a place that's good for them. Now, there is a caveat to that. If your child's time that's best for them to engage in that asynchronous lesson is midnight, they won't have a teacher available at midnight. They'll have to wait till the next morning for questions. The other thing, type of activities that could be planned are synchronous, and your child will likely have 1 or 2 of these each day where they actually log in and engage in a learning activity with their teacher, a small group, their entire class. Those are activities based around forming those connections and will be really important too. So your child will have a mix of synchronous and asynchronous learning each day. The other thing that will happen is there will be a mix of offline and online learning each day. Now, in high school, there will be more online learning activities than at our K-8 levels. However, there will still be some activities each day that are considered offline. The reading, the working on a project, things of that nature. So the other thing that will be built into high school student schedules are office hours. Teachers being available outside of class time to support student learning, to personalize for them, to give them what they need to answer questions, support them in a particularly difficult concept for them, things like that. So that'll be part of a student's day too, is attending office hours when they need. So what we're hoping to do at PSD Virtual is provide a flexible structure to the day so that it can work for each family and each student. Each student gets the supports they need, engages in the learning, and is able to have some flexibility in their school day. So another big piece of the school day may be, and we're still working on this, looking at how your child stays connected to their home school. And we'll have more information on that in the future, but we do want students to maintain those connections, as the hope is they would, in the future, likely return to that school, and we want them to keep those connections. So that could be part of their school day as well. All in all, what we're really looking to provide is, again, a flexible structure, but a personalized school day to meet their needs, with, access to teachers for those things they need, and their needs around when it's best for them to work and where it's best for them to work. So hope that gives you a little more idea what the day in the life of a PSD virtual high school student would look like.